Hey guys, guess who's back? Yeah, it's me. It's my sort of other video that's going to be talking about summer blockbusters and other kind of summer movies that aren't necessarily horror movies, with the exception of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. But that's kind of a horror comedy, so I put it in this pile with other stuff. So I hope you enjoyed my favorite or top horror movie summer horror movie recommendations. I had a really fun time doing that video. It's a gorgeous day, as you can tell. It's going to be plus 23 today. I'm hopefully going to be taking my niece out. I discovered this really cool place where I live. They have like a new summer outdoor rec department, like a container ship container, and they rent or lend out like electric bikes and summer equipment and stuff like that for free for town folks. And I discovered they have this really cool like electric rickshaw, like a motorized electric bike rickshaw, and it's designed for people with special needs. And so I thought I would love to take my niece out in this. So later today, I'm hoping to do that. Maybe I'll take a little video if I can. But yeah, so I'm full swing here in the summer. The next, I think, 3 or 4 days is supposed to be rain. So I do want to get out today and enjoy. Yesterday, I went out for a great big long bike ride, which was lovely. I hope you guys are enjoying summer where you are, and I hope you're staying safe and having a good time. Today on the show, or today on this episode, it's kind of a summer hangout. I should have had like a chilled ice, fruity ice beverage to hold in my hand, but alas, I'm drinking cold coffee out of my Grogu mug. Shout out to Christina. So yeah, today we're talking about like other summer movies that aren't necessarily horror movies, and I'll talk about a bit about like going to the cinema in the '80s when I was a teenager in the summer. Some of my most favorite memories. Oh, excuse me. So, this isn't necessarily a summer movie, but it gives me summer vibes. This movie, of course, I think came out on May 25th of 1983. But Return of the Jedi for me is one of my favorites. Not necessarily my favorite Star Wars movie. I would say that would probably be The Empire Strikes Back. But Return of the Jedi for me is like such a summer movie. Yeah, I think this came out like late. I think May 25th was always the day that the original Star Wars movies came out. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But for some reason I feel like I remembered that. I was 13 when this movie came out. I was just teetering on like I'm too old to go see this, or it's not like cool to go see this. But being a massive Star Wars fan as a kid, of course, this is my last hurrah, I guess, at Star Wars until much later in my life. But I went to see this movie a bunch of times at the cinema with my family and my cousins and my dad, rest in peace. And I also went to see this a couple times with friends, and I may have even seen this by myself a couple times. I can't remember. I did see it a lot though that summer. Of course, these movies were like mega blockbusters in the summertime. This particular disc is from the widescreen 2004 DVD edition, which I'd prefer to watch the original version. This is the one that had like the really bad like Cy Snoodles band in it. God, it was so bad. But just a favorite of mine ever since I was 13. I've always enjoyed this movie. This is the one with the speeder bikes going through the forest, and it's got those kind of like just it's got those summer vibes to me. The Ewoks having the fires and everything, and it just kind of gives me those vibes. I remember I have such vivid memories of this too. Like I remember after I saw this, it was a couple days later. I went for a bike ride on my own, and I ended up at a grocery store. Back then, they had this great big magazine rack. I don't think grocery stores have those anymore, but I remember it had this Return of the Jedi collector's album, and I got this magazine, and that whole summer of 1983, I was just fully immersed in Return of the Jedi stuff. I think I got my last toy then too, which was the the Scout Walker, the chicken walker, the two-legged chicken walker, which I got at a store called Consumers Distributing, which was this really cool store here. I don't know if it was in the States, but in Canada, it had a catalog, and you would go in and you say, I want item number 5 on page 38, and they would go out into the warehouse in the back room and they'd bring you out the item in a brown box. It was like a warehouse, Consumers Distributing. So it was like this really cool, weird store. Let me know if you remember that store. But that was the last kind of like toy I think I bought. And I was like 13, so I was kind of pushing the limit there. But I just thought it was so cool, such a cool toy. You could press this button on its back and the legs would move. And oh, such nostalgia, guys. And what else about that summer? 83. A Flock of Seagulls, Billy Idol, Tears for Fears. The music for me, that was my first year of like really getting into rock music and pop music. And I have such fond memories of that. Maybe I should do a video of just like my favorite like 83 music memories. But I do remember like the White Wedding video in that summer. And like, it just takes me right back. It was like, somebody can comment below. Sorry, I'm dragging this out so long, but on Saturday nights, I believe, Friday night videos, I think it was out of Maine, Channel 2 WLBZ, and they had this show, and it was all pop and rock videos. Do you remember this? And the end music credit for the show was Stuart Copeland with the theme song from 2010 or something like that. Am I losing my mind? I don't know. I suddenly I'm having like this rush of memories. You're probably like, oh, here's another old person having weird memories while making a video. But yeah, 83 was, I guess, now that I think about it, a pretty powerful year for me. Yeah, but Return of the Jedi snorted. Return of the Jedi, one of my favorites, and when I put it on, it does take me right back to that summer. I don't know. Kind of different, but set on those gritty Australian back roads in the summer. Mad Max, how could you not love this movie for a summer vibe? Mad Max, what's it? Mel Gibson. He goes on vacation with his family because his boss said like, go take a week off and go take a holiday, and so grow a beard. And guys, I saw this when I was younger, but in the more recent years, I've rewatched this movie so many times. This is probably one of my all-time favorite movies, but also great summer vibes. This is the Scream Factory edition. If I could swear, I love this movie. This is like, oh God, I love this movie. Can I say it any more times? This has the reversible cover art from Scream Factory. Yeah, I just love this movie so much. Mel Gibson's great in it. George Miller, of course, who came back, 10 years ago to school all the modern directors on how to make an action movie with Mad Max Fury Road. Furiosa was good. I do want to revisit that one, but for me, this one, it's just like so gritty. Again, that Australian outback, the cool muscle cars, hot asphalt, guns, yeah. I would say any of the Mad Max movies are great for the summer, but this one especially, oh man. The maximum force of the future. And yeah, for me, this is like my, what year was this? 1980. So I didn't discover this movie till several years after this came out on video, but this is, to me, is like that quintessential, like, when I think about drawing pictures of like robots or creatures or things, it takes me back to that time of like, that early heavy metal kind of grittiness, and like the first Terminator with the stop motion animation, and Judas Priest, and like that I try to capture those vibes, but it was just like early Voivod caught that kind of with the artwork. It kind of caught that vibe of the post-apocalyptic kind of like robotic and things don't work right and it's violent and it's bloody and just great, just great. So yeah, if you're looking for a cool summer action flick, pop that one on. Is there anything else? Yeah, totally switching gears now. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a stone cold summer classic for me. And this takes me right back to summer of what, 86, I think it was. I saw Ferris Bueller in the theater a bunch of times when I was 16. I just love that movie. I have not watched that movie in a while, though, if I'm being honest. But I picked up this set a couple of years ago. It has Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, and Some Kind of Wonderful. All just kind of fun, like summer teen movies. But Ferris Bueller, of course, any teenager growing up in the 80s, this was like our fantasy of like calling in, or not calling in sick, but playing hooky from school, which I did not actually do. Well, I tried it once and I got caught, so I didn't do it again. Yeah, I was a nerd, but I didn't actually do very well in school. But I was a nerd. I went every day. But yeah, going to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and just Matthew Broderick playing that character, and he's got the trumpet or whatever, and it's just wearing funny hats and like going into the city and being crazy and cutting loose and like I guess it was a bit of rebellion against parents as well, but it was just so fun and playful. And for me, of course, I grew up on Twist and Shout with my parents having that record as a kid, so that scene with him dancing in the parade to Twist and Shout, like, yeah, I know the choreographed background dancers are kind of cheesy, but it's just so fun. It's just so fun. And it really, like, John Hughes was such a brilliant writer and director, and I think he really knew what teenagers were about in those days. And God, I'm having some major nostalgia, guys, like just doing this video. But also like what's his name, Alan Ruck as Cameron, and Mia Sara, just a great little trio there in that film. When they take Alan Ruck they take the character of Cameron's dad's sports car, and they're not supposed to, and they take it into the city and they leave it at the parking garage. Of course, the guy who took the car, that kind of greasy car park attendant, was Jim Scalvanos, who was one of the original drummers for Sonic Youth. Myself being a huge Sonic Youth fan in the 80s. But yeah, they take off in the car over that bump with the Star Wars music playing. I mean, John Hughes was really quite brilliant and really knew teenagers in that era. So yeah, I can't say anything more about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but such a great summer movie. And I think that movie came out in like July, so we were kind of like midsummer and like approaching the next school year. And so that would have been 87 for me, and just such a formative time in my life. And but even if you're not in that zone, if you're younger and you're just looking for a fun, like, teenagers getting away with something in the summer, just great. Well, I guess it's like, maybe it's like end of summer because he has to call in sick to school, but it's like maybe it would be good actually for this time of year, because it's like those first beautiful days, but you're still going to school, but you want to take the day off. Yeah, those kind of vibes. This one is the Vacation collection, but I'm specifically talking about National Lampoon's Vacation. The first one, I just rewatched this the other day. Love this movie. I didn't see this in the theater, but we did see it on cable. Me and my family back in the early 80s, and it's always been a favorite of mine. Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, special appearance by John Candy as one of the people that worked at Wally World. The film debut of Christie Brinkley from 1983. Yeah, National Lampoon's Vacation. I would argue, European Vacation and Vegas Vacation also could fit into there. Obviously not summer, Christmas Vacation, because it's a Christmas movie, but for me, this is the classic summer vacation movie. And I think I saw this right before I went on summer vacation. So it was just like, yeah, I mean, everybody has those quirky, funny family stories. I had plenty with my family. But yeah, this just takes me back to the summertime and back to those days when I was a teenager going on vacation with my parents and just all the wacky things that would happen to you when you were on vacation. So shout out to my family for supplying me with many great summer vacation memories. But yeah, if you're looking for a comedy, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, National Lampoon's Vacation, great. Another great summer, because it is, these two dudes, Tucker and Dale, are going to their summer home. This is a horror comedy, so this does have some pretty graphic blood and guts in it. So if that's not your thing, you probably want to avoid it. But if you like a horror comedy, you'll probably really dig this. And if you're looking for a horror comedy set in the summer, baby, this is your jam. I discovered this about 10 years ago with a very close person to me, a very close, an ex-partner and close friend. We watched this together on the streaming, and we both just love this film. And ever since I've seen it, evil just messed with the wrong hillbillies. Oh, so I guess hillbillies is okay to still say? I don't know. Country folk. This has Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Katrina Bowden. Brilliant, hilarious genius, says Fangoria. This is put out by Magnet. This is from, I think, 2011. Okay, this is actually older than I thought. But I saw this in about 2014, I think. But yeah, it's great. These two lovable country dudes have a summer home together. They're just like best pals. And they go to enjoy a weekend at their summer home. It's a fixer-upper, which is actually like kind of a dump. But they love it. A bunch of teenagers go out of the woods. They get mixed up. Things get confused. The kids think that Tucker and Dale are like psychos. And fun and madness and death and blood ensue. I love this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have done a review of this on my channel previously, but I love Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Again, if you're looking for a really fun horror comedy, you can't beat this one. I've played this for a few other people and they've not enjoyed it, which I find really strange. But I love that movie. I got different strokes for different folks, but I really loved it. Now, this one might not necessarily be a summer movie, or maybe some people don't get summer vibes from it, but I do. Office Space from Mike Judge from, what was this, the year 1999, I believe. This is Ron Livingston, Stephen Root, Gary Cole, and Jennifer Aniston. I saw this movie when I was working in an office in 1999. This was right around the time that my son was born, and I was really stressed out in life. I was having a really hard time in life. Not really enjoying my office job that much. Having to wear office clothes and ride on hot, stinky public transit buses. And the minute I put this movie on, and my ex-partner will attest to this, I was literally on the ground rolling around laughing hysterically because this was my life in 1999. Going to the office, having like 5 bosses, just the absurdity of working in an office. And this is like in the summertime. This is one of my favorite comedies of all time. If you've never seen this, I highly recommend this. This is, of course, the movie that has the scene where the guys destroy the office printer with baseball bats and other weapons. How could you go wrong with this film? I'm trying to remember the guy that was in it that played the office, the sort of efficiency guy. He's really funny too. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough. This is so funny. A smart and savage comedy, says Roger Ebert. So shout out to Roger Ebert, because you got that right on the hit the nail on the head. Rest in peace, Roger Ebert. But yeah, great fun summer comedy flick, especially if you're working at an office in the summer and hating your job. I would encourage you to just maybe, just go get a different job. Maybe go work as a landscaper. Just, I don't know, just try something. This movie gets shouted out as a summer movie, but I recently watched this. This does give me summer vibes a bit. But this movie, I was just watching this recently, and there was a mention of the fall in it. Did anybody else pick up on that? It's when the gang of kids are at the place where the Fratellis are staying at the very beginning, and it's like one of the kids says something about, oh, it's strange that they're here in the fall or something. So I don't know what this movie's supposed to be. I guess maybe it's like end of summer, but it definitely gives me those summer vibes. This is another fun one for like a rainy afternoon. The beginning of the movie has that kind of rainy day vibe. But again, this is a classic from my teenage years, from my youth. This is produced and directed by Richard Donner, and screenplay by Chris Columbus. Excellent cast in it. What else? Steven Spielberg presents. What else can I say about this movie? I don't know. It's weird though, in the credits it doesn't list the actors' names, but it has, the kid from Temple of Doom, and Josh Brolin, I think his name is, and Carrie something. Oh, and isn't it in Juno where they're talking about the guy from Sean, what's his face, and they're like, oh, the fat guy from the Hobbit movies or whatever. But yeah, I love this movie. I guess maybe this came out in the spring, early summer. I remember seeing this movie many times in the theater, and I remember we had a field trip at the end of grade 8, and we went to a water slide park. And it must have been like the last day of school or thereabouts, and everybody was bringing their yearbook to get their classmates to sign. I didn't get a yearbook because I don't know if I can afford one or I just didn't want one, but I had a Goonies Collector's Magazine album, and I got all my classmates to sign the Goonies magazine, so I still have that somewhere in my archives. That was a memory about this movie, and so I guess I must have seen it around that time, or maybe it came out a little afterwards, but I must have seen it by that time, because I don't think I would have bought the magazine before I saw the movie. But yeah, I love this movie. Cyndi Lauper doing the theme song. Wow. Yeah. I usually watch this once a year or once every other year. But it's a great, if you want to go back to that time, it's the kids going on an adventure, and it's that summer blockbuster vibe. The Goonies. Can't go wrong with that. Speaking of blockbusters, and I'm just going to go through these last bunch. Actually, no, I've got one more to mention. Rear Window, the Alfred Hitchcock film with James Stewart, Grace Kelly, Raymond Burr. This is from, I'm trying to remember, 1954. This is a great movie. For younger folks, if you've seen the movie Disturbia, this is the one that Disturbia basically rips off. But I like Disturbia, don't get me wrong, but when I saw Disturbia the first time, I was like, oh, Rear Window. But yeah, this is a guy who's laid up in his apartment. He's got a camera, binoculars, I should say, and a camera, and he's spying on the neighbors in a little apartment complex. It's got that kind of summer vibe, and he's trapped inside because I forget he must have had like a broken leg or something. And he starts to see some things going on in the neighborhood that he thinks are a little suspicious. This is Alfred Hitchcock at top of his game to me. Of course, 6 years later he would do Psycho, but this is one of my favorite Hitchcock movies, and it definitely gives me those summer vibes. I can't remember if this is set in the summer, but I don't know, it has that feel to it. This was mentioned on a few other people's lists of great summer movies, so I'm going to go on that assumption. Let's just see if... Oh yeah, so he has a broken leg. He becomes obsessed watching the private dramas of his neighbors play out in the courtyard. And this is honored in AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movies for excellence in films. And it's one of Alfred Hitchcock's most stylish thrillers, says Leonard Maltin. So yeah, check this out. On that note, you could check out Disturbia. Be an honorable mention. So, I know this video is going long, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I would say the summer blockbuster, as I mentioned, Jaws in my last video, my top horror summer recommendations. The summertime for me, again, as I mentioned a while ago, is like it's the you've been at work all day in the hot summer sun, or you're stuck in an office, and maybe you're just coming from a barbecue or something, or a bike ride, and you want to get away with your pals, or just on your own to an air-conditioned movie theater, get some hot butter popcorn and a cold soda with some ice, and get into that nice air-conditioned movie theater. You got your shorts on, you got your t-shirt, you're chill, you got a little bit of sun maybe, you're a little warm, but you're cooling off, and some awesome movie comes on. And for me, in the 80s growing up, I grew up in the best time, I think. Other kids would argue, other people would argue, the 90s were the best or the 2000s were the best, but for me, the 80s, man, you can't argue that we had the best summer blockbusters. And these are some of my favorite summer blockbusters. Alien, this is the Alien quadrilogy, but Aliens, the second film in the series. Let's see if I can find the Blu-ray. Aliens, for me, is like one of my all-time top summer, going to the movies with my pals, my summer camp counselors, going to see this movie. I had actually not seen Alien when I went to see Aliens, so I had no idea what I was walking into. And when I came out of Aliens, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, like being a Star Wars kid, and then as a, 86, I was 16, seeing a movie with scary monsters in space, like, oh man. Edge of your seat excitement. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Aliens from 1986 is my favorite movie of all time. I'm not even lying. Like, I would say in the last 10 years, I've watched that movie once, maybe twice a year, and I am like fully engaged with that movie. I love the vibes of that movie, and for me, even though it's set in space, and of course you don't know what season it is, for me, being that summer blockbuster, it's like I associate that with summer. And not so much the other movies, but Aliens from 1986, I love that. I love that movie, especially for the summertime. Another great summer blockbuster movie for me was James Cameron's The Abyss from 1989. I also saw this several times in the movie theater, and I just picked up this 4K last year. I actually have not watched the 4K. I watched the Blu-ray so far because I didn't have a 4K player when I got it, but I got it in anticipation of having the 4K player. That's how much I love this movie. For the longest time, this wasn't available on Blu-ray. It was only on DVD, and I had that nice 2-disc DVD set, but I picked this up on 4K Blu-ray. I think it was last year, and I saw the Blu-ray, and even the Blu-ray looked like God's gift to physical media. So actually, I might keep this separate when I'm done this video and pop on the 4K one of these hot summer nights. For me, this was like, again, I know you know, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, I love underwater shit, and I love movies set at the ocean or in bodies of water. I just got a thing with water, and The Abyss was like that full-on underwater, and you're in that air-conditioned theater after a hot day in the summer sun. For me, with summer camp, and you're got that glow, and you're with your pals, and man, like when that movie pops up on the screen, that big rig underwater, and the rainstorms are coming, and you're locked into that facility. It just takes me back to that time so much, and I love it. I love it, and it makes me so gall darn happy to just let my mind go back to those times. Speaking of which, and we're almost done, guys. The original Batman from 1989, the Tim Burton Batman. Of course, this is from the 4 movie set, but I would argue maybe not so much Batman Returns because that was more of a Christmas movie. But I did see Batman Forever and Batman and Robin in the theater in the summertime. Batman and Robin, I remember going with my ex-partner now, and we were full on into that. I know like a lot of people consider this like real schlock, but if you were like 25, 26 in that era and you were growing up watching these movies, you went to the theater to see this. I don't care how cool you think you are. And we went to McDonald's and got those little see-through glass Batman cups, mugs, and like this, it was a big deal back then. And Batman 89 was no exception. Of course, this was, to me, was the movie that reinvigorated that summer blockbuster after, of course, Jaws. You did have other summer blockbusters before it, but Batman 89 was a phenomenon. And again, it's one of those ones where what more can I say about it? But like that summer, my mom went on summer vacation with my dad and came back, and I had like, she got me like the Batman shirt and the Batman keychain and the Batman dinky car and the Batman poster, and like I was like full on Batman, and even going back and checking that out. Another one of those ones where it's like a hot summer night and you just want that blockbuster feel. I wouldn't necessarily, it's not set in the summer to my remembrance, but yeah, just a really fun blockbuster movie. And of course, it would be crazy for me to not mention the Jurassic Park movies, especially the first one. I was 23 when the first one came out, so I was kind of like, I was in a different phase in my life. I did not grow up watching Jurassic Park. It was only till years later that I saw the brilliance of that on home video. But yeah, I would argue, I guess all 3 of them have those kind of summer vibes, but the first one especially definitely has that summer vibe. This is a kind of a cool Blu-ray set that I picked up a couple of years ago. I like all the Jurassic Park movies. I even like the Jurassic World movies. I know there's a new Jurassic World movie coming out, I think, this summer. So, maybe this would be a good time to, if you've never experienced a Jurassic Park movie in the summer with a big crowd of people, with some hot popcorn and a cool soda, with some ice cubes, and you just want to take your best pal or your partner and go check out a fun, action-packed, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be good, obviously, because I haven't seen it at this point, but I just find those Jurassic Park movies give me that kind of summer blockbuster vibe. Guys, that's it for my movie recommendations for other summer movies that are not horror movies or just like blockbusters. The summer's, I mean, it's always fun to go to the movies, but I find for the summertime, there's just something really cool about it. Going into that cool, dark theater. I don't know. Let me know what you think about in the comments below. Of course, it's fun to go see a movie at Christmas time with your family if it's like a, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or things like that. Or last year, Nosferatu. But like, or like a Tarantino, like a Hateful Eight. But, oh yeah, that's another good one. I didn't bring Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is also a really good summer blockbuster movie. I mean, there's lots of movies I could mention, but those are the ones that came to mind. As a sort of supplementary to my other sort of summer movie recommendations, because I wanted to kind of balance out the 2 videos. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm sure some of you have summer movie blockbuster memories. Leave them in the comments below, movies that you loved going to see in the summertime. That's it for today. If you missed it, it was either earlier today or yesterday, I dropped my favorite summer horror movie recommendations. And last week I had Tough Turf with James Spader on Cult Movie Tuesday's review. So go check that out if you missed it. Let me know your thoughts on this pile of movies. Are any of those your favorites? Do you have other movies you'd recommend that I check out that maybe I've missed or I don't know about? I mean, like I said, there's lots of other ones I could recommend if I did like a really, really deep dive. But those are the ones that I've mentioned are the ones that really come to mind when I think about like summer movies. My plant is flourishing. Sid is their name, and they're they need some water, I guess, but they're flourishing in the summer sun. I hope you're flourishing in the summer sun. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my summer recommendations. Go check some of them out. Leave your comments below if there's movies you think I should check out. I would love to hear your recommendations. Go swimming, ride bikes, eat popsicles, get a little bit of sun, but don't get sunburned. What else? This summer, I have not picked any flowers. I've just enjoyed looking at the flowers because I thought, who am I to take away the flower's life and somebody else's enjoyment of the flowers? So I've just been kind of enjoying the flowers that I've seen around. Of course, I live in one of the most beautiful parts of the world, Annapolis Valley in Nova Scotia, and I'm surrounded by nature and beautiful trees and beautiful flowers. There's llamas and sheep that live across the street, so probably going to go visit them sometime soon. But yeah, get out. See if you don't love the summer. I mean, I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to lie. Up until 10 years ago, I did not love the summer. But if you can find something to enjoy about the summer, if you're one of those ones that's like, I like the colder weather and being inside, I would encourage you to maybe go out on a cool night for a walk, or even take a jaunt in the car with the windows down, listening to some Beach Boys. Heck, even go to the mall and get some air conditioning to cool off and do some window shopping. I don't know, there's so many fun things you can do in the summer. I would encourage you to go check it out. Don't miss the season because it goes by real fast. As I said in my other video, I'm already starting to see videos of people showing Halloween stuff showing up in their department stores. So it's going to go by fast, so enjoy it. Get out of your dark basements. Get out of your houses and go... Whoa, did you see how fast that guy was going? Yeah, even sit out on a deck if you can, or go to a local park, sit on a blanket, drink some lemonade, listen to some Beach Boys or some Beat Happening. Just have some fun. That's all I'm saying. This video went rather long, so I do apologize, but I hope you enjoy this video. Leave your comments below. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Physical media hauls, physical media reviews, cult movie reviews, horror movie reviews, all that kind of jazz. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Oh, I think Jaws wants to say it. Until next time, I'll see you at the video store, or at the thrift store, or just out and about somewhere. But until next time, take good care of yourselves. I hope you don't get eaten by a shark at the beach. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Oh my God.